Hi, this is Kristen here. Welcome to my process video, and today I'm working on 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. This is series 19, and I am working on sketch number 25. The sketch is by Brandy Jo at Scrappy Boy Mama. I am using the Shimmerz May kit. So this is actually a kit I've had for a while in my stash. And again, with these challenges and sketches, I really try to pull out things that I have not used yet. I end up bringing the ephemera as well. And then I've got some little fabric flowers that I had received in some Color Rush kits. And so I'm actually documenting a couple photographs of my son feeding a duckling. So kind of a funny story. My father-in-law ended up finding some abandoned goose eggs in his yard, and he decided to incubate them, ended up getting one to hatch. So he actually had a Canadian goose for quite a while that wouldn't migrate. So, and it wouldn't go in their pond. It really did not have any interest in the pond. So he ended up getting a couple ducks, thinking that he could have the ducks teach the goose how to get on the pond. And it ended up that none of them wanted to get on the pond. So he ended up getting like a baby pool. So we actually have pictures of the kids swimming in the clean baby pool that was reserved for the kids. And then, swimming side by side with the ducks and the goose and their dirty baby swimming pool. Which was kind of funny that he got the ducks for that. But anyway, so of course he had this little baby duck, and of course the kids like anything fluffy and cute, so my son was out there feeding it a daffodil. And so the reason why I picked Shimmerz paint is because I knew that they had this goose paper that I just thought was so cute. Kind of reminds me of the geese from like the 90s that you saw people put on their doorsteps. And in fact, my grandma had one, and they would dress them with different outfits. So it just brought back some nostalgia. So I really wanted to use that paper. And since he was feeding the duck a daffodil, I decided to use that flower paper down at the bottom, even though they're not daffodils, but close enough. I really like that blue floral paper, so you can see that off to the right-hand side. And I was trying to make it work. I don't know that I really stuck super strict to the sketch, as per usual. This month some of them I've done really well and have stuck with them, and other ones so you can see here, I'm like pondering, I'm like, I really want to work in this blue because it really kind of goes really well with his blue shirt. But trying to figure out because the duck paper was like, I wanted to make sure that you could still see the ducks there. And so I was trying to figure out how I was going to make it all work. But I also, if I was going to use the blue paper, I wanted you to be able to see some of the florals on the blue paper as well. Like, I didn't want to, use it and not be able to see some of the florals on it. So I'm kind of just pondering things here. And this is partly why sometimes I veer off from the sketches, because with whatever collection I've decided to use, sometimes it's just visually, sometimes what you initially think how things will work with a sketch sometimes just don't, and then you kind of have to veer off from it. But again, even if you don't stick with the sketch, even if it's not, exactly, this inspiration came from the sketch. So even if I do not adhere strictly to a sketch, I always get inspiration from the sketch. So, and it oftentimes makes me scrapbook in a way that I don't really ever think to, and use pictures and kits in a way that I normally wouldn't, collections in a way that I wouldn't. So. And I really think scrapbooking from sketches really kind of takes some of the thinking out for you, because, you kind of follow the sketch and some of your decisions kind of naturally come from that. So you can see where the camera has shifted. And that's because this table is so shaky. And I put like a little weight. You can see like a little block of wood there. I had tried to kind of get it to stabilize it a little bit with that. And it still, that's why a lot of times in these layouts, the bottom's cut off because the camera just kept shifting. So I do decide to cut some of the pictures down just a little bit, just so then that way a little bit more of the blue will be peeking through. And this is one reason why too, like people will have like, dimensions for pictures. I usually never do like the exact dimensions for pictures because I'm like an old scrapbooker where back in the day, like you just cropped them down. And so I still will do that. A lot of time I'll start off maybe with a certain size, but then like as I'm kind of laying it out, I decide, well, I really would like them smaller, or sometimes I'll reprint them because I'll decide I want them a little bit bigger. So I'm really bad at adhering to specific size photographs. Oh well, it's, whatever you're comfortable with. That's the biggest thing, is scrapbook how it's comfortable for you and makes sense for you. There's no rules in scrapbooking. So I really like this little banner piece, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to use for a title down here. So initially I was thinking the spring piece would be a little bit of my title, but then I end up pulling in something different, so you'll see that. And they had these cute little duck, or I guess it's goose. So I mean, I'm doing a duck layout, but close enough, right? I end up pulling on these little goose / duck, whatever you want to call them, die cut pieces. So I decided to pull off that spring and put hello instead, because I kind of thought it was like cute, like, oh, hello there, little duckling. I don't know. I don't know. I thought it worked there, so. This is one of those too where it was like such a simple layout, and really the sketch was pretty simple. I feel like the sketch was pretty straightforward, but I still was racking my brain with this one. I'm not sure why. I decided to do this notes piece up here. I will cut it down a little bit just so then that way I can utilize the other piece of it. But I think I was kind of racking my brain a little bit with it because some of like the ephemera, like it would blend in with the papers. So I was kind of fighting against that, I guess. And I also thought kind of with the papers that they, there was a lot to them, pattern wise. So I didn't want to like bog down the layout with too many embellishment pieces, because I felt like, that with the flower paper at the bottom, the geese, it wasn't going to really require a ton of embellishments, but I just want to kind of add a little bit. And here's where I go back to the spring. I'm like, do I like the spring one better? I don't know. I was so unsure with this layout. I feel like sometimes I really fight that. There's like these little floral cut pieces, so that's why I was kind of like trying to put some of those in there, because I thought that would work since he was feeding the duck a flower. And you can see I'm like looking at the sticker sheet that came with the collection. So this was actually an Echo Park sticker sheet. I don't recall what collection that came from, but so you can see, like, I'm really, like, I don't know what it was, but I just felt like something about it was bothering me. I just kind of being nitpicky. I'm not sure why. So I think at this point, I'm like, you know what? Let's just be happy with it. It's, I feel like it looks fine. I don't know what about it. Like, I was just feeling unsettled. I don't know if I felt like that needed something up there. I don't know. I don't know what my problem was, because then on top of that, I didn't want to cover up the ducks a bunch. So anyways, I ended up adding a few floral stickers from the sticker sheet, and then a couple little bees, and called it quits. I was like, it's cute. I don't need to do any more to it. So here are a few close-up shots. I will include the playlist down below, as well as the Facebook group. I really appreciate you for coming by to watch another process video.